Hey everyone, welcome, welcome. I'm going to dive in just a second. Can you guys hear me? If you can pop in the chat, that'd be amazing. See Dawn here, Karen here. Can you guys hear me? I hope you can. I'm not on camera today because I literally just finished this training. It's so good. If I do say so myself. So I'm so excited that you're here. Okay, thanks, Dawn. Amazing. Thanks, Karen. So I'd love to hear from all of you before we dive in. What is your number one reason why you decided to sign up for the Money Mastery training? I know many of you have heard me talk about money mindset before, so I'm just curious because you're here again for more, and I'd love to know what's coming up for you, what your intention is. And this is something that's really important, regardless of what we're doing, setting that intention around what it is that you want to experience, what you want to learn. That can be very, very powerful. I had a coach once tell me that she never gets on a plane without actually setting an intention about what she wants to experience or who she wants to be sitting by. That always stood out in my mind. So, what is your intention for today for the Money Mastery Rewire Your Mind for Abundance training? We're at an important part of the year, the end of the year, ready to create massive abundance in 2025 and beyond. Dawn said, I think every time you hear this work, you get something different. I made a lot of progress and growth, but there's always room for more and new. Beautiful. Yeah, especially when it comes to money. So I'm going to share some of the more recent learnings that I've had over the last few years. And you'll see this work it's kind of never done, but that's also exciting because like you said, Dawn, there's a whole nother level. If anyone else wants to share, I'd love to read them. And welcome to Danielle and Caroline. Karen, I said hi to you. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in just a second. And feel free to pop your comments in the chat. And also feel free to make this really interactive. I think that it's really powerful when we do real live work versus just listening. So let's practice active listening. And if you want to get a pen and paper or you want to type out anything that comes up for you throughout this training, you're welcome to do so. Perfect. Okay, so Karen says repetition is what helps me learn. Also, I'm still not quite where I want to be regarding my money mindset. Caroline says moving from feelings of lack and abundance. Beautiful. All right, let's dive in. All right, so I'm Emily Williams. I'm your host for today. I personally was never taught that I had a money story or that there was a way to reprogram my mind to make more money. But for the last 10 years with hundreds of clients, I've been perfecting this way of attracting more money. And now I'm going to share my methodology with you in today's class. So here are the 3 shifts you're going to make today. So you're going to discover the hidden beliefs that are currently holding you back and learn how to replace them with empowering thoughts that attract abundance. You're going to break free from anxiety and self-doubt around money so you can make confident decisions and take bold steps towards your goals. You'll unlock the secrets to aligning your energy, actions, and desires to create a flow of prosperity in your life. And the best part, excuse me, one second, let me get some water. The best part is what took me years to get right can happen for you in just a few weeks. Sorry about that. Let me mute myself real quick. Okay, got it. I have a little one, so we're always passing around colds and coughs, right? All right, so maybe you're like Lynn, who is one of my previous clients. When she came to me, she had major money blocks. She couldn't even pay for a stamp, and that's no exaggeration. She joined my program because she was so riddled with money blocks and money fear. But she turned everything around and created a 6-figure business and has gone on to make way more money compared to that. That was a few years ago. And she says here, I think the best story is not even having a money to pay for a stamp last year, and now I have a 6-figure business. The willpower it took to keep saying no to struggle and yes to abundance has transformed so many areas of my life. I no longer choose lack. I look for abundance everywhere. And I love the way that she described this because she says, I no longer choose lack. So lack perspective is a choice. And we're going to talk more about that today. This is Rashima. She said, I was doing well, but she says, when I first started the program, I was so full of fear regarding talking about money that I used to cringe. I was totally undercharging my worth. Since completing the program, I've raised my prices twice and sold a package at my new price. Emily, thank you so much for doing this work. My life has completely changed. And for this case study, maybe you're like her in that you know you have way more potential. Maybe you're charging way less, but you're worried about raising your prices because you're worried about what people will think or if you're not going to have any more clients. And for her, she really wanted to make sure if she did raise her prices, that that was actually going to stick and that she wasn't going to revert back to what she currently charged. So maybe that's also a fear that you have. Or maybe like Jamie, you're super successful as a business owner, but for the past however many years, you've had a hunch. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys. You've had a hunch that there's something more for you. So maybe you've never done mindset work and you want to understand if there's something more than strategy that's going to help you go to the next level. So for example, for her, she was in business for 14 years before she discovered money mindset work. And since going through the program, she says here she's had record-breaking 5-figure months, and she's changed her mindset about more than just money, but about life in general. She's noticed a positive impact in every aspect of her life. So that's really, really powerful because this work really permeates so many areas of our life, not just business. And we're going to talk about that today. Okay. So the results you've seen are from my iHeartMoney course, and I'm going to speak more about that at the end. This is truly my iHeartMoney blueprint that I've created over the last 10 years or so. It's the method I use to help driven women create more wealth and transform their life forever. So I want to help you, like Lynn, Rashima, and Jamie, to get clear on what you want and make it happen without the struggle and uncertainty that you're currently experiencing. So again, this class is for you if you fall into one of these 3 categories. You feel like Lynn, you don't know how to make money, you're blocked, you don't know what the answer is, but you have a feeling that it's not just about trying harder. Maybe you feel like Rashima, you're doing well with money, but you know there's a next level for you. You have some blocks or a relationship with money that could be improved, and you want to know how to go to the next level and charge more. Or maybe you feel like Jamie, where things are flowing and you've reached a lot of the goals that you set for yourself. However, you've never done this work and are curious to see how it impacts you because you've hit a glass ceiling. Or maybe you find yourself always scared that you're going to lose what you've created. I know that's a big thing for a lot of successful people. They're like, oh my goodness, is this all going to go away? And that in itself is very debilitating in terms of the fear. And so we're going to talk about that later. So if you stay until the end, I'm also going to make this worth it for you and give you my purpose for money bonus. So this is exactly what I use myself and with my high-level clients to get clear on my purpose for money and set goals. Money loves to have a purpose. All right. I'll give you a little bit of a hint there. Plus, I'm going to give you the details on how to get over $4,000 covered if you're interested in my model on how to transform your money blocks and make more money. All right. So money mindset is one of my favorite topics. And in fact, it's one of the things I'm most known for. You can see some colleague testimonials here. Chris Winfield, Emily helped me truly flip the switch on how I view money, freedom, and even fear itself. Mariah Cause, she has a way of kindly coaching, but never letting you get away with your BS. Her money mindset trainings continue to be my go-to as I continue to level up. And Sarah Kaler, if you're looking to master the inner game of wealth, look no further. Emily is direct, no BS, and one of the most sincere champions of your success that I've ever met. And I share that with you because obviously it's great to have colleagues and people you respect you and your work. And that definitely wasn't always the case. In the beginning of starting my business, I had no idea how to sell. I was in massive debt, so literally over 100 grand in debt. And I had to figure out a way to release the shame I felt and shift to making money instead. Because the truth is, if you're focused on debt and what you don't have, you're going to get more of that. So luckily, I worked with a mentor who is an expert in money mindset. Honestly, I didn't even hire her for that. I thought she was going to teach me business strategy, but it turned out that I really needed the mindset pieces to go to the next level. And everything started to shift. So I went from $442 to 6 figures in 6 months, and then all the way up to 7 figures in my first 18 months. For the next 8 years, I was hitting 7 figures every year. Things were flowing. We built a new house. We launched a new high ticket program. Everything was going well. But then I had a business crisis that cost me $250,000 and everything started to fall apart. And this was also the time when I was pregnant with my daughter. So for those of you who are moms or have ever been through a sensitive situation, you know that that's not exactly the time you want to go through a crisis, especially when you're a new mom. So I really had to use all of my mindset tools to get me out of that place and help me keep moving forward. Okay. And so although in the previous few years, or sorry, the years that were prior to that situation, I had no idea that I was going to be faced with this crisis. I'm so grateful that the work that I did on my money mindset helped me to get out of that place. And so I share that with you because I don't want this to be like a success story from 10 years ago. This is stuff that I use today in my daily life to continue to put one foot in front of the other, even on those days where you really feel like giving up. So I don't know if any of you have ever been there and been through something that challenged you or rocked you to your core, but that's definitely what this has been for us over the last few years. It's been one of the most painful periods of my life, but I had to go through it to get to the other side and reinvent myself and my business. And one of the things that's really cool is it actually showed me that everything that I've been talking about over the last 10 years actually works, and that it can help you get through any situation if you have a strong money mindset. Okay. So now I want to show you how to get the bank account that you're craving. Okay, so today we're going to cover some of my iHeartMoney blueprint, which you see here. We don't have time to go through all 8 steps, but we'll look at the top 3 and then go on from there. Okay. So truth number 1, the number one reason why you don't want to be excuse me, let me back up. The number one reason you aren't where you want to be financially is because you don't know what you want. Now, that might come as a surprise, but we're going to dive in, and I'm hopefully going to prove this to you as to why that's the case and why everything starts with you understanding what the life is that you actually want and getting clarity on your dreams and your vision. So some of you may be nodding your head and you might be thinking, you know what, I do need to understand what I want. Or some of you might think, you know what, Emily, I already have a laundry list of items that I want, and that's not why I'm not having the money that I want, or that's not why I'm broke. Like, I'm very clear that I want the new house. I want to take the trip. I want to fly first class. I want the business success. Okay. But I'm going to challenge you. Many times we are staying in the same place that we're at currently financially because we're actually moving towards fear versus desire. And for many of us, decision making is all about avoiding pain versus moving towards the life that we want. Okay. So here's 6 ways in which we avoid pain as it pertains to money instead of moving forward with our desires. Okay. See if any of these resonate with you, and you're welcome to type in the chat box and just let me know what stands out for you. Okay. So maybe you avoid disappointment. And this could look like you don't set the big financial goals because you're worried about not reaching them. Anyone? Maybe you avoid judgment. So you don't go for the life you actually want. Maybe that's the car, the first class travel, the house, the trip, moving to another country, because you're worried about what people or even your family or strangers will say. Maybe you avoid loss. You don't spend money or invest for fear of losing it. Maybe you avoid pain. You avoid looking at the reality of your situation because you're worried about what it may mean. Maybe you avoid getting clear on your financials because it's too painful to look. I know for me, when I had no money in the bank, the last thing I wanted to do was look at my bank account. Maybe you avoid failure. You don't launch the new program because you're worried about no one buying it. Anyone? Maybe you avoid, excuse me, maybe you avoid feeling unsafe. You don't invest in the program or working with the coach because you're afraid of parting with the money and what it will mean for your family. After all, you don't want to end up homeless. And I put that there as a bit of a joke, but that's a real answer that I get from a lot of people when I ask them, like, if we were to follow the fear, what is the actual fear? And a lot of people say, I don't want to have to move back in with my parents or become homeless. And that's like a very extreme scenario. For most of us, that wouldn't actually be the case. We'd figure it out before that happened. But that's the fear that is like running the show for us. And this is how we're making decisions. And then we wonder why we don't actually have the life that we want. We're stuck in all of this avoidance. So here's an example. So I have a client who has a multi-million-dollar business, but when I was talking to her about her desires, she straight up told me that she's scared to set next level financial goals that she might not achieve because she doesn't want to be disappointed. So literally for years, she hasn't been setting goals because she's scared of not reaching them. And I'm sure that you could imagine that if you're not setting goals, you're way less likely to reach them than if you just set the goals. And I know that sounds funny, but like the way that we show up in life and the way that we're programmed is like the complete opposite of moving in the direction of our dreams. Okay, so some of you are in the chat box answering. So Alex said 1 and 5. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Don said, definitely worked on 3 a lot since we lost our business in 2013. And yes, 5, I don't launch because I want balance. And I struggle with the idea of being too busy and something falling through the cracks. Great. Caroline 5. Karen says 1, 4, and 5. Okay, great. Yeah, and it's so interesting, Dawn, because a lot of people have this fear of overwhelm as well. And so they don't launch the thing because they're like, oh, I'm not going to have time with my kids. I'm going to be too busy. I'm worried about going back into burnout. And that's great to be aware, but awareness is very different to avoidance. So you need to be clear about where you're at on that spectrum, right? So can you see how all of these decisions are rooted in some sort of money fear? They're not actually in alignment with your desires. And the truth is, we're always in motion, but when we're in avoidance, we're actually headed towards the thing we don't really want without knowing it. So, Dawn, for example, I'm just going to make you a guinea pig here, for lack of a better phrase. If we're always focused on the idea of being too busy, most likely you're going to be too busy because that's the focus. Even though you're thinking to yourself, I don't want this, your mind is focused on being too busy and things falling through the cracks. So it's super interesting when we think about that. So what's actually happening is the mind wants you to stay the same and stay stuck because it doesn't know how to predict the future. So anything unknown is scary. So it thinks like, okay, I'm going to launch this new product. And then because it's such an unknown, it comes up with all the reasons why you shouldn't do that and why it's way more safe for you to not launch. But we all know that you're not going to get the financial results that you want unless you're putting the thing out there to sell. So money needs a purpose and money needs a vessel through which it comes to you. Okay. So we go to the worst case scenario and we flash forward to the future, and our mind comes up with all the reasons why we need to avoid it. And then we literally put on the brakes. We have our own stopping strategies and we don't actually move forward. So I know for me, one of my stopping strategies is fear of loss, right? So fear of losing things. And even around starting my business, one of the biggest fears was bankruptcy because my parents, my dad and both my grandpas went through that as entrepreneurs. And although I haven't experienced it and I don't intend to experience it, that was one of the things that was on my mind. And I'm guarantee you that's one of the reasons why I manifested 250K loss in my business, because that was my mindset. Right. And so that's one of the things that recently I've gotten to process and move through. So we're always reinforcing all of our limiting beliefs around money without even knowing it if we don't do this work. So if we don't process what's actually going on beneath the surface, then we're going to reinforce our current beliefs, meaning you're going to act in accordance to your beliefs, and your mind is going to make up stories about why you were right and continue to reinforce that belief. So the only way that we really change is when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. And we shift our focus to what we desire and we break through the fear. So think about it like this. So the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. So maybe, and I like to use this example because it's very extreme, but if someone literally came up to you and said, unless you find $200,000 tomorrow, I'm going to fill in the blank. Like, what is your worst scenario? Like your children dying, like heaven forbid, right? Like I'm using a very extreme example here because if that was the pain that you were faced with, then you would clearly make a huge change and do everything you possibly could to bring in that money. Whereas now your pain of staying the same is not greater than the pain of change, or at least it's the perceived pain of staying the same. And so you're not changing. And what we need to get to here is that your desire becomes stronger and you can see that it's possible for you to start to make big changes in your life, and that it's actually it's safer for you to make the change than to stay the same. In other words, what if you started to eradicate the fear of the change and moved towards the desire instead? And we need to stop denying what it is that we actually want and get to the truth of the reality that we want to create. Now, this is so, so important. This is one of my favorite pieces because so often we deny what we actually want. We make ourselves wrong for it. Like the clients I've already mentioned so far, we oftentimes push our desires to the side because of using all of the avoidance tools that we can possibly find, which are all rooted in fear. And one of the biggest issues with ambitious women getting what they want is they don't actually know what they want. So we really have to start there. Okay. I hope this is making sense to you. If you have any ahas, please put them in the chat box. I love to read them. So you might be saying, Emily, I know exactly what I want. So why don't I have it yet? And I promise we're going to get there. All right. But I would also ask you, just like I said a few minutes ago, do you actually know what you want? Really? Have you taken the time to consider what you truly desire, not just what you want, but you desire? So something deeper than just the surface level wants. Maybe you've been so obsessed with reaching your goals, but you haven't stopped recently to ask yourself if this is what you actually want. Okay. Or maybe you're really clear on your desires in one area of life, but not others. And in my experience, there's always a new level of knowing and a new level of desires to bring to the surface. And many of you mentioned that at the beginning of our training today. So, one of the easiest ways to get clear on what you actually want and to get out of that place of avoidance is to literally make a list of what you want and how you want your life to look, and then put a monetary amount next to it. Okay. So, here's an example of a list from one of my private clients. I asked her to literally just write out all of her desires. She says being a woman of leisure, tennis club with private instructor, spa days multiple times a week, working out, lunching with friends, living in 3 places around the world. My children are pursuing their own passions. I work 2 to 3 deeply plugged in hours a day on only the highest value tasks. I want to be well known. Thank you. James just brought me some tea. I want to travel to events, have a great network of friends, and have many interesting travel experiences. I want a hot relationship with my husband and have so much time for personal beauty and self-care. Now, the next part of this process is to literally put an amount next to the item that you wrote out. So these are just, she didn't write this, I put this here, just estimating what these things would cost. And, obviously this one here, 3 places around the world, that's probably the priciest, right? If we just say $5 million for 3 houses, I don't know, maybe that's way too low. But what we want to look at is the ones that are more immediate. So for example, I know for a fact that she looked up the tennis club that she had her eye on and realized it was way cheaper than what she expected. And also, it was super close to her house, so it was easy to fit into her everyday schedule. The issue that we often have as driven women is that we think that all these desires are like way far off in the future, and we don't realize that we can bring some of them into our current reality now. And I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but the reason I wanted to share this with you is because it's so powerful when you start to see that you can have your dream life today just by adding in some of the smaller things that might only cost 300 a month. Or maybe you start adding in a date with your partner, right? Or maybe I don't know what it is, and that wouldn't even have to cost $500 a month. So you get to decide, what it is that you put on this list, but then make sure you're adding that monetary amount because that's really important to the process of wealth creation. And also to your mind, seeing that you can actually have the life you want today. You don't have to wait. Because when we're putting stuff off in the future, it often gets built up in our head. And it's like black and white. It's like we either have the life that we want now or not. We don't realize that there's a way for you to step towards it, and maybe, the $5 million stuff will take some time. But if your mind starts to see that you can have the other things, I'm sure you can imagine that it's going to be much easier to to move towards the bigger stuff, and for your mind to see like, hey, this is not crazy. This is possible, and I'm going to make it happen. Now, I just want to check in really quick. Are you guys still with me? This is a lot of information, I know. Yeah, so I'll take some questions at the end, Dawn. So thank you so much for sharing that and for sharing your ahas. So you said, struggling with this, I wanted redemption for a previous failed business. Then I did it with the roastery. Now I'm stuck. I don't think I'm able to admit I want anything. Been working through this for a year. I just want the business to keep succeeding and not be taken away like the one in 2023. You're definitely uncovering some deeper things I need to address with this class. Yeah. So, and I see that that's not really a question now. So thank you for sharing. So this is perfect because right now your focus is actually, I don't want this to be taken away. And you can see that that's actually a negative. That's actually a fear that you're focused on versus I want this to thrive. And I only have your words to go off of in this chat, and so maybe your mindset, you do often think about it thriving, but that's a really powerful shift for you to make. And for you to get even clearer on, like, what does it actually mean for this to thrive? What are the details of that? Now, when you stay until the end, remember you're going to get my purpose for money bonus to help you get even clearer on this. Okay. Just wanted to mention that. So I want you to really envision how this would change your life if you had this new understanding and clarity around what it is you actually want and how much your dream life costs. And you started moving towards that versus avoiding the stuff you don't want. I'm sure you can see that this would change everything. Okay. If anyone else wants to share any ahas, please let me know. So let me ask you, if you were able to avoid, or excuse me, if you were able to identify and face your own avoidance tactics, what would change for you? Take a second to think about that. I'm just going to sip my tea here. I appreciate you being patient with my throat. So if you were able to identify and face your own avoidance tactics, what would change for you? Dawn's already identified one thing. Everything would change for you. And I'm sure you can see that even adopting this belief of moving towards desire, or sorry, this way of life of moving towards desire versus fear, your life will be way more fun. All right. So I love this. This is from a client called Charlotte. Oh my God, I just had a breakthrough after watching the live Q&A. I haven't been honest with myself about what it is I actually want. I've played my dreams down because I felt guilty that they were too big. So they haven't excited me. Thank you, Emily Williams. You're my new girl crush. So think about that. And I put this in here. She's an iHeart Money course student. I put this in here because I love how she said she played her dreams down because because she felt like they were too big. And so then they didn't even excite her. So are you currently doing that? Are you at the place where your dreams and what's on your list isn't actually exciting to you? If so, that's not the energy of manifestation, right? If something's not exciting, we're not going to be pulled towards it. If you are in a marriage or a relationship, obviously at the beginning stages of that relationship, there was some excitement there. So you were drawn to that person. And I hope there's still excitement there, but you know what I mean? So if you're being drawn to your desires, that's a very different energy than like lackluster or just playing it safe, or again, being in that place of avoidance or fear. Okay. Truth number 2, your belief system is blocking wealth and abundance. This is a huge one. So we're going to move on to uncovering your money story. So you want to look at your desires and see if they match up with your belief system. So in other words, is your mind programmed to actually allow the thing you want into your life? Okay. Think about that for a second. So is your mind programmed to allow the things that you want into your life? So for example, if you have a certain revenue goal that you want to hit, or you want to sell a high ticket package, or you want to buy a house, or you want to make a business investment, or you want to take a trip, or you want to hire the team member, do you believe that those things are possible for you? So what you can literally do is take a look at what the stories are that are running the show and what's holding you back. Okay, so I'll give you some tangible examples in a second, but first, here are some money stories. So I'm not bad with money. I'm bad with money. I can't save. I never have enough. I can't make enough. I feel guilty and ashamed of my debt. Making money means I'm taking it from someone. Real success is hard to achieve. I'm bad at paying off debt. Saving money is a struggle. You always have to evaluate every purchase. You can get it cheaper. Wealthy people are evil. Only skinny people can be rich. You shouldn't make a lot of money by helping people. I never have enough money for what I want. Life is too expensive. This is a big one. The life is too expensive. I have been hearing that nonstop since COVID. The amount of people talking about the price of eggs is through the roof. And that's just a simple example. And I know the price has gone up. I'm in the grocery, I can see it. But do we need to talk about that to the extent that we're currently talking about it? And again, silly example, but how often are you saying that things are too expensive? How often are you allowing that to drain your energy? Maybe you make a lot of money in your company or in your job, but you're not good at saving money, right? And that's the story that's running through your mind. So we get to adopt a new belief system around your ability to save going forward. Okay. So let's keep going. So you can literally take all of your desires one by one and ask yourself what your belief system is around that. Do any of those money stories exist in terms of your desires? So for example, this client client example that you see here. So being a woman of leisure. So she wants to do the tennis instructions. She wants to go to those classes. She wants to do spa days, whatever it is. So if you have a similar desire, or you can list your own out, obviously, and you know that it costs $300 a month, what is your current belief system around that? Is it, I can't afford that, or I don't have the time for that? Or what about living in 3 places around the world? Oh, what would people think? Or, oh, that's way too much maintenance. I could never manage living in 3 places around the world. And that might be your reality, but you either get to decide, hey, I'm going to hire someone to manage it for me, or actually, that's not truly one of my desires. So I'm going to take it off the list. Either way, you're getting clearer. Does this make sense to all of you? So you can literally go one by one and get clear on what your actual beliefs are around all of these different things. So maybe your belief system is, in order to be successful, you actually have to work 8 hours a day. And so this here, 2 to 3 deeply plugged in hours, wouldn't feel real to you. You'd be nervous that only working 2 to 3 hours wouldn't get you the results that you want. So your new belief system is, I can create the results that I want by just working 2 to 3 hours a day, and I'm going to outsource the rest. Okay. I hope this is landing for you. How about, I want to travel to events, have a great network of friends, and have many interesting travel experiences. So maybe, again, you believe that it's too expensive to travel, or the way in which you want to travel is first class and staying in the best hotels, but you believe that that's not possible for you. So what if you opened up your mind to actually believing that that was possible for you? I work with so many amazing women, and so often they're in this place where they don't even look up the cost of the first class ticket because they've already told themselves in their mind that it's not possible. So how many things are you not even exploring because you're in belief that it's not possible for you? Okay. So here's another example. So this is one from one of my clients. I have another spreadsheet I use with my one-to-one clients. And basically we write out everything that they want, and then we look at what is the limiting belief that is keeping them stuck. And then the next step is, what is the new belief that you're going to adopt to go to the next level? Okay. That's just a simple example there that I wanted to share in terms of a visual. All right, another client example. One of my successful clients recently uncovered a money block. Her dad told her years ago that she would never be wealthy like her brother. She didn't realize that that belief was deep in her subconscious, holding her back. So maybe as you start to do this work, you're going to uncover some of the things that your parents told you years ago. And this is not about going into blame, but it's about uncovering what stories you are operating with. Maybe you started to make a quick list of limiting beliefs as I was talking about this, right? Maybe you're already starting to realize that you've been blocking money, and it's hard to take that personal responsibility. I get it. This is the uncomfortable part of the training. But the truth is that the truth is that there's a really amazing thing about this. You get to make a big change. If you take personal responsibility for where you are today and the way that you've been thinking about money, that means you also get the opportunity to transform your thinking about money. Maybe a new belief for you is that everything can change on a dime. When you have an abundant mindset, that is the belief that even if you are where you are today financially, that's just your current situation. It's not your forever circumstance. And so you get to design your life the way that you want to. And remember, your money story or your money beliefs were set when you were a child based on what you were taught about money. You weren't born with this way of thinking. I believe it's David Nagel who always talks about the fact that we were only born with 2 fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. The rest of those fears are learned. So you get to unlearn them, which brings us to truth number 3. Reprogramming your mind is the secret to abundance and attracting more with ease. And I put that in there, the more with ease, because I know many of you have been efforting your way to success, and it's been all about hard work. And that in itself is a belief system that you have to work harder in order to attract more money. So what if that gets to be the belief that you start to shift? Now we're on to transform your money story and the blueprint for success. Okay. So in case you're unaware, our mind has a set way of thinking. We've already talked a little bit about that, but it literally likes to optimize itself just like any other bit of software would. And you have reoccurring thoughts every single day that become automatic. They become habitual so that the brain will no longer have to reassess every situation. It just pulls up what it is you normally think about or have thought about in situations from the past. So, for example, Dawn's story of losing the business, that's her experience with money, one of them, right? And so it's going to bring up this fear of that happening again over and over and over. And it will continue to be a pattern in her life. I'm not saying you're going to lose your business, but the thought process will continue to be there until she reprograms and creates a new belief about money and what's possible. Okay. So this is like you installing a new money operating system or playlist. It's one that's confident in beliefs and possibility. And this is truly the number one thing that's going to help you make more money, because I'm sure you can see, even if you uncover your desires, even if you identify your limiting beliefs, if you don't start to change those limiting beliefs, you're going to stay in the same place. Okay. So does this mean we change all of our limiting beliefs at once? No. But in my experience, there's a simple way to do this that's not overwhelming. So again, we're coming back to that spreadsheet. So you're looking at the different belief systems, and then you literally can write out what the new belief actually is. So for example, if the belief is I never have enough money for all of my desires, you can shift it to I always have enough money for all my desires. Now, here's a key piece that I want you to understand. We're not just sitting here writing that out or thinking about it in meditation. We're living our life based on that new desire. Okay. Now, for this one in particular, people freak out because they think I'm telling them to spend all their money. And that's not what I'm telling you. But if you believed that you always had enough money for all of your desires, I want you to think for yourself. How would you be showing up differently? Okay, just take a second. Let's post in the chat. How would you be showing up differently if you truly believed you always had enough money for all your desires? For most people, that would mean that they start to move towards the things that they are craving. So, for example, maybe you want to hire a team member to take things off your plate, and yet you've stopped yourself because you don't feel like you have the money. What if, even before the money was in the bank, you started putting an application out there? You talked to your colleagues for referrals. You made the job description. Do you see how that energy is very different than immediately cutting off the desire and saying, I don't have the money for it, and just waiting until you have the money in the bank? Do you see that potentially you could find that maybe it costs less than what you think to get that person to support you? Do you see that maybe it could come in, the money could come in a different way than what you expect? Or maybe there's some sort of, I don't know, maybe there's somebody who you can invest in and train them, and they can do the work for you and take a percentage of sales versus you paying them out of pocket. Okay. Do you see how if you actually follow the desire versus cutting it off from the outset, that you will actually get creative with making it happen versus limiting yourself right away? So I hope that's making sense for you. So I'm not saying go and spend all your money this second, but what would happen if you actually move towards the thing that you want? Don't you imagine that your energy would start to shift and your creativity would expand? You would find new ways of making the thing happen versus just saying, oh no, I can't do it. Let's just wait. I personally am always of the mindset that I don't actually need to be waiting. I can always be in motion towards the thing that I want. Does that mean that I'm spending the money this second? No, not necessarily, but maybe. At least if I move towards it, I'll have the information to make an informed decision. If you're just stopping yourself right now, then it's very likely that you're not going to have all the information and not even know what you're working with and what's possible. Is this landing for all of you? I hope so. So, like I said, this requires a few things. Transforming your mindset requires a few things. Saturating your mind with this new way of thinking, so creating those new beliefs, making sure that those you're around also have an abundant mindset. That one's really huge. So, are you around people who are bringing you down, or people who are not in alignment with your desires? They don't believe that they're possible. If so, that's very challenging, especially when you're new to doing this work, because you're very susceptible to the way that other people are thinking. Okay. So I'm not saying you need to cut everyone out of your life, but I am saying that you need to work on creating a new community and group to support you and build you up. And then finally, making decisions based on fear, or sorry, making decisions based on desire, not fear, and taking that action. So let's talk about a few other examples. So as you've been listening to me over the last 40 or so minutes, what are some of the desires that have come up for you? Let's just post a couple in the chat because I really want to support you to make sure that this lands. So what are some of the desires? And if you want to share any of your limiting beliefs, that'd be great too. And if it's easier, you're also welcome to open up your line or raise your hand and I'll open it up. So Dawn says, I'd only be doing the work I want to do and have a full support staff. That's a great example. So you have to get clear on what the work is that you want to do. Maybe you already know this, but literally have a list. What is your own job description? How do you spend your time? What is the best use of your time? And then who are the people that you'll need to fill the gaps? And then finally, what is it that they charge? How much do they cost? How much does that hire cost? And for a lot of people, they don't even know that answer because they haven't allowed themselves to do the research. So you want to think about if you literally had the money come in tomorrow, would you be able to make that hire? Would you have the person lined up? Would you have the job applications? Would you have whatever, the referrals? So act as if it's already happening. If I told you, Dawn, you're going to have the money in your account tomorrow morning, you need to get moving with your job applications, with the descriptions, etc., what would you be doing today? Because if you're not taking that action, you're literally telling the universe and yourself that this is not happening. And then you get that result of it not happening. Okay, Caroline says, limiting belief. I'm afraid the money I have will run out. New belief. There's always more money and money needs to flow. That's great. Love that, Caroline. And then you could ask yourself, okay, what are the actions that I take that will showcase the fact that I believe in that result? So, or believe in that truth. So one of the things that happens with people is oftentimes they have a big savings account or they have a 401k or whatever it is. And there's this fear of utilizing that money because they're worried that they're not going to have enough come in and then that savings is going to be drained. Great, right? So savings is great. And you want to look at your belief system around savings. Do you have a belief that you can always replenish it? Do you have a belief that it can only be used for extreme emergencies? So for example, I had a client sign up with me last month to do private coaching, and she used some of her savings for that. And she said it was such a struggle for her because she and her husband had said that they could only use their savings for things like fixing the car or some sort of an emergency. And I was talking to her because and challenging her on that because I was like, that's so interesting, not just her, but other people, that we all have these stories about how we're allowed to use money, especially that, pot of money. And in my opinion, investing in yourself in some capacity or in your business or whatever it may be in terms of growth, that is way more powerful and a much bigger guarantee of an ROI than investing and fixing the car, right? And I know that's a silly example. Of course, you need a car to go places, but think about the rules that you've made up for yourself. Like, I can use this money, but not this money. I can use that card, but not that savings. And how is that stunting your growth? How is that no longer serving you? And maybe that was something that you were taught by family growing up, and it's not actually your belief system. And so you get to adopt a new way of thinking. Okay. So yeah, and so I kind of went on a tangent there, Caroline. So maybe your belief system around I'm afraid the money I have will run out is you really limit the way that you spend your money. And again, I'm not talking about just buying anything, but maybe there's some clear things that will support your growth, right? And you're operating from a place of fear instead because you want to hold on to that money. Okay. Yeah. So Karen says, I used money for coaching programs that my dad put aside for me. I feel guilty that I'm still not making enough to pay that back. Right. So Karen, I know your specific situation. So you haven't been doing that for very long, right? So oftentimes we have this belief system that there's a certain time frame Otherwise, we didn't do it right, or we need to feel guilty. So, what would happen if you were fully in trust that your desires are truth and that that money is going to come back to you many times over versus staying in a place of fear or guilt or shame? And we don't have time to go into, the energetics of all those emotions, but I'm sure that you guys can understand that when we're in gratitude, abundance, positive thinking, love, those are much higher vibrations and are much more likely to attract the money that you want to you in your life. Okay? All right. So here's another client example. One of my clients has had health problems for many years. She's been in and out of the hospital, has had unexpected surgeries, and although her business and her marriage are thriving, she's not. So I know for a fact that one of the things that she's looking to transform is the belief that she can make a lot of money and also be healthy. Because one of the things that she's seen over her life is that she makes a lot of money, but it's to the detriment of her health. And I know a lot of people have that where they believe that they can make a lot of money, but that means they're going to be stressed out. It means they're going to be burnt out. It means they're not going to see their family. So, do you have a current program or belief system that's keeping you from thriving in every area of your life? Right? That's just another example. And so, for her, a lot of times people are thinking, okay, well, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to eat healthy. I don't have time to take care of my body and do all these other things. She gets to adopt a new way of thinking, which means she takes different action. She creates time and space in her calendar to give back to herself, not just her business, and starts to reprogram her mind in terms of what's possible. Okay. If anyone wants to share any other examples, I'd love to hear them. I know that's a lot of information to process. So, like I said, would love to hear any other ahas in the chat box. Actually, if you can share your biggest takeaway, that would be amazing because that will really help me to understand what was powerful for you. And any other ahas can be put in the chat box as well. Thank you, Caroline, Karen, Dawn, for participating. Alex, saw you up there. Really appreciate it. So, what was your biggest aha so far in today's training? And again, I know that this is a lot to process. And oftentimes people go through this work and they're like, oh crap, I realize I have so much that's been holding me back. And they feel a bit icky because it is a lot to uncover. But even just the realization that there are some beliefs that you get to shift is huge. And it's going to support you in making some big changes in your life. And you can start that literally today. Even one belief that you start to transform can make a huge difference. Okay, anyone want to share any of their biggest ahas so far? Caroline, making a list about putting money, making a list and putting a money amount beside it to see what's actually possible. Some of the things which have cost less can have more impact. Love it. Rose said, my biggest is that I still carry belief around judgment of others. Yeah, for sure. I even had a colleague recently. She had a big issue within her company and she had to let two of her team members go. And there was a lot of like betrayal and like ickiness there. And long story short, she was able to replace them by using Chat GPT, which is awesome. So she literally was saving herself $10,000 a month. And she was telling me, oh my gosh, I'd love to make a course about this to teach other people how to make that amount or have that amount of savings in their business and replace team members with Chat GPT. And I was like, you should do that. And she said, but what are those team members going to think? Like, what if they see me put that out there? Or even worse, what if my current team members see this and realize I was paying somebody $5,000 a month? Right. And I was telling her, I was like, oh my gosh, you're going to let that stop you from number one, helping tons of people with this information. And number two, obviously adding a huge revenue stream because everyone wants to know about ChatGPT into your company. And it was literally because she was scared of the judgment. Yeah, Rose, I can share more with you. But yeah, it's so fascinating. Even when we've had a lot of success or we've made a lot of progress, this stuff can creep in. It's a little bit tricky like that. Okay. So as you can see, at the beginning of this training, I said I wanted to help you get the bank account of your dreams, but truly this work is much deeper than just about the money in the bank. It's about truly transforming your life, helping you break free from that anxiety, that fear, that judgment, that guilt, that shame that's currently running the show, you know? So today, I also want to share another resource for you. So if you're willing, I'd love to take a few minutes to tell you about a program I created to help you out, to help you go deeper with your money story, to help you transform your money blocks. So I'm going to dive into that now. So this course is called my I Heart Money course. All right. This is my signature program to support you in uncovering your money blocks, taking you completely through the complete I Heart Money blueprint so that you can learn how to put your desires first and the rational mind and all the shoulds second. All right. So for the next 3 days only, I'm also giving you some special bonuses and some crazy special pricing for being a part of this class. Now, the reason why I wanted to share this with all of you is because the results that my clients have gotten over the last 10 years in this program is off the charts. And you're going to see a lot of those here that can show you what's possible. This is one of my favorite testimonials ever. If you see here, this little screenshot. This is Kristen. She says, the first time I did this program was insane. It's my favorite program I've ever done with surprise money attacks coming left and right. Felt like Oprah's favorite things, only it was the universe and loads of cash. Love that so much. So, like I said, this is Kristen. She said the program made her realize how much her ability to make money was tied to her self-worth. And I Heart Money gave her the tools to fix it. I was so inspired to add self-love to my traditional health coaching and have since become a better coach to my current clients, as well as gained 3 new ones. Old clients have contacted me out of the blue, and my husband applied some of the principles to his own life too and received $2,000 he didn't know he was owed from an employer he hasn't worked for in 10 years. So this is an incredibly powerful program, not just for you, but also for your family. So I'm going to share exactly what's included and then give you a special opportunity to get crazy special pricing and bonuses. So the first module in I Heart Money is all about you creating the life that you want. So starting with your desires, getting clear on what it is you want, finally feeling worthy of your desires, setting specific and intentional goals, discovering the why behind your goals, learning how to use jealousy to give you even more clarity, channeling your talents to impact the world, and how to stop blocking and denying what it is that you want. This is Sarah. She says she's in real estate. She says, I Heart Money was a life-changing course. Before taking I Heart Money, my relationship with finances was completely in the gutter. Even after completing just the first module, my whole mindset and beliefs around money were changed. I finally developed a relationship with money based on love and self-worth. After completing the course, I booked a month-long Euro trip, enrolled in a coaching program worth thousands, and started to value my life in a more vibrant and fearless way. The I Heart Money course kickstarted this process and completely changed my life. Module two is all about uncovering your money story. So what you'll achieve, you'll uncover your money story. You'll go back in time to the origin of your money story. You'll learn how rich people think, which might be different to how you're currently thinking. You'll get real about your money fears and worries. You'll discover how your money story is keeping you broke or at a lower level than you want to be at. This is Kaylee. She said, literally the first question of module 2 for I Heart Money, I've already had a breakthrough that I did not expect. I was just writing about my current relationship with money, and almost without realizing it, I wrote down, I'm scared to make money because money means I'm independent and I'm scared to be independent. Where did that come from? Wow, phew. Anyway, I swear I'm not crazy, but wanted to say thank you to Emily, whether she ever reads this email or not. Love it. Module 3 is all about transforming your money story. So here's what you're going to achieve. You're going to learn how to shift your thoughts, just like you would change the playlist you're currently listening to on Spotify. You're going to create new and improved wealthy money habits. You're going to learn how to stop blocking money once and for all. You're going to replace the toxic money blocking words that you're currently saying. You're going to create new stories about money that actually serve your dreams. You're going to use your money story to attract money into your business. And you're going to get real about how you need to show up to hit your targets. Here's Shannon. She said, after taking the money course, I made my monthly income in one day. I went from making 2 to 3K a month to 8K in one day. Since the course, I've not only tripled my rates and booked a client, I've also found my true gifts as a coach. My life has completely transformed in the past couple of months. I don't know whose life this is, but I love it. And you can see here, I did the program last year and it was incredible. Just do it. Money mindset was the foundation to hitting my first 30K month, and I couldn't have done it without doing this work. Module 4, adopting the I Heart Money mindset. So you'll get the I Heart Money mindset overview, learn why money mindset is key to wealth creation, name and claim your current relationship with money, go deeper with your family history with money, learn what thought habits are, and learn how to identify your thought habits around money and the ones that are keeping you stuck and broke. This is Ruth. She said, I just completed the first two modules of iHeartMoney and can already feel my whole mindset changing. I've also attracted 3 people who I spoke to earlier in the month come back and sign up as clients. Module 5, getting intimate with money. You'll learn the one word to drop now to get rich. You're going to uncover the beliefs about savings and what to do about them, get real about your financial reality, and step into the role of a powerful CEO, if you are a CEO, who's actually in touch with her finances. This is Kelsey. She said, what I learned in iHeartMoney enabled me to raise over $27,000 in less than 3 months and turn my nonprofit from a floundering failure into a screaming success. The money I raised was able to help over 250 students in Northern Cameroon and gave me the life-changing experience of living in rural Africa for 2 months. Not only that, but my new money story has freed me from financial stress and enabled me to charge what I'm worth in my coaching business. Module 6, learn to love money. So you'll learn how to fall in love with your bank account and why it needs to be your new BFF, create a healthy relationship with money, discover why gratitude is the missing link to your previous money history, learn how to attract and expect money miracles, discover why more where that came from is your key to it all. This is Brandon. She said, my relationship with money did a 180. In just a few short months, I grew my list by 5,000 and created a new program, booked 4 speaking events, seized magazine exposure, and was able to get crystal clear on what I wanted out of my life. Module 7, stellar sales method. You'll create new beliefs about sales that don't leave you feeling icky. Learn what mindset shifts are needed to hit those monthly money goals. Become the woman who attracts high-level clients consistently. Master the art of sales conversations and the mindset needed to sell. Learn how to have a greater impact on the world and spread your message. This is Joanna. She said, then she was updating us in the program. The next morning, 10K client signs contract. And finally, I'm fully booked with $50,000 worth of business for January 2018. Woohoo. As you can see, I've been running this program for a while and it's been changing lives for the last, 8 or so years. Finally, module 8, attracting money now. You'll get access to my exclusive attracting money experiments and techniques. Learn how living as if today, not waiting, will get you what you want. Help you drop any shame or beliefs about around being worthy of your desires. Discover who you need to be and how to show up to bring in mega money. You'll hit those money targets, whether it's the first 2K client or a 7-figure year. This is Leanne. Within the first couple of weeks of iHeartMoney, I noticed massive shifts in not only my money mindset, but money flowing into my life in obvious and discreet ways. I've had 3 new clients appear, and was given discount vouchers for my new yoga group, money off my new phone, and the list goes on. Love it. In addition to the modules that you get within iHeartMoney, which go through my iHeartMoney blueprint, you also get 12 hours of money coaching that's been recorded with me. So you'll get to hear real women asking real questions about their own limiting beliefs, much like we talked about here today. So you'll gain the tools to overcome limiting beliefs and align with abundance. You'll access a roadmap to financial clarity, confidence, and success, and hear examples and case studies from real coaching experiences. And I'm sure that you know that whatever is personal is universal. So I'm sure the ladies on these trainings have questions that you have. You'll be able to have it in your back pocket and listen whenever you want to stay in a high vibrational money state. This is Sage. She's the daughter of Wayne Dyer. She said, Emily helped me get my money mindset into a place that allowed me to get in touch with how I was blocking myself and stepping into an abundant life. And I love this because this is the daughter of Wayne Dyer. And I was like, when she worked with me privately, I was like, okay, well, what can I teach you? And I was able to teach her a lot that she didn't know. And so it was amazing. It was such an honor. All right. In addition to the core modules and the recorded coaching calls, you're also going to get my money reading list. These are the real books that I use to transform my own money mindset. And honestly, the books I still go back to today. This is Rose. She said, Emily's iHeartMoney program opened my eyes to the crippling effects of my money blocks. I was undercharging and underestimating and overall undervaluing myself. As a result of her program, especially the live calls, I've confidently doubled the price of my online course, declined free and low paid speaking gigs. I feel I am recognizing my worth for the first time, and it feels so good. Love that. You'll also get my Amp Up Your Sales mini course, which will help you take your sales to the next level. If you feel uncomfortable selling, uncomfortable on discovery calls, don't know how to overcome objections, this is a great mini course for you. This is Mel. She said the I Heart Money program helped me to realize that to invest in yourself first is a non-negotiable priority. It has also taught me the importance of having a laser-focused vision for my life in order to manifest my intended financial goals for my business. Like I said, money wants a purpose. You'll also get our Money Mindset for Men training. So if you wonder how to help your partner or significant other make money mindset shifts, this training is for you. James will give you the male perspective on money mindset. This is Jennifer. She said, when I signed up for I Heart My Life, I didn't know I had a money story, although I always felt anxious about money and having enough. Through the thought-provoking modules and training really helped me uncover my subconscious blocks and beliefs about money and how I was holding myself back. Over the course of I Heart Money, I had a soft launch of my business. Since July, I've coached over 10 women. I've hosted a Facebook Live training session for over 800 women. The program has not only had an impact on my life and business, but also my partners. We are more financially comfortable than ever before. And then finally, you're going to get Money Mindset Screensavers. So this is a great way to saturate your mind in new ways of thinking on your phone and your computer. This is Janelle. She said, discovering I had a money story and creating a new healthy one has completely changed my life. I've learned how to ask and expect to receive all that I need to thrive in life. I now run a 6-figure business, and money mindset work is part of that daily morning routine. It's life-changing work that I get to teach my own clients. I've gone from unemployed and broke, where payments were constantly bouncing from my bank for insufficient funds, to being able to pay my bills, hire a team, travel to Australia, USA, Europe, and enjoy my life without constant struggle and stress. I wish someone had told me about this money stuff sooner. It's absolutely earth-shattering, life-changing information. And I love this because maybe this is something you also want to teach your clients. Maybe this is something you want to bring into your work. And then I'm also giving you a 7-figure sales training. So if you're looking to hit that 7-figure level, I also break down exactly how I did it. The first year I hit 7 figures so that you can see how it's possible for you. Now, as you can see, that's a lot of stuff that you get in this course. We haven't left any stone unturned. It's all here, everything you need to uncover what you want, uncover your money story and your blocks, and start to transform those thoughts. The total value of this program is $3,958. The regular price is $397. But for those of you who are here on this training, making the effort to make a big change, I'm actually giving you special pricing. So you'll get all of that just for $198.50, which is crazy town. All right. I'm going to put the link to where you sign up for that here in the chat. And you can go ahead and grab that. It's good for the next few days. And if you stick with me, I have a few more things to tell you here. There you go. So that should work. So this is an amazing opportunity, like I said, to get a crazy discount just for being here on this class. All right. But that's not all. If you sign up over the next few days, I'm also going to give you some special fast action bonuses. All right. So you're going to get my money meditation. This is the exact money meditation that I used when I was scaling from $442 all the way up to 7 figures and beyond. And it's 22 minutes. You'll be able to listen to it, obviously, on the go whenever you're wanting to dive in and really saturate your mind with new positive ways of thinking. All right, this is Cynthia. She said, I believe that I Heart Money is a course that every woman entrepreneur should have in her success tools arsenal. The work I did from this course has led to my largest months in business ever. For example, within 1 month of putting this course into practice, I sold my first 2 premium coaching packages and made more in 2 months than I had in the entire 6 months prior. And the work is something you can return to time and time again to get focused, authentic, and aligned with your financial goals at every step in your growth, in the growth of your business. If you do the work, you'll see the results. This program was one of the best investments I've ever made, and I can't recommend it enough. Love this. And it is something that people return to over and over and over again. It's something that we get emailed about all the time. Can I access my course? How can I access my course? You have lifetime access to it, so you don't have to worry. I'm also going to give you my secrets to getting clients training. So you'll see the key steps to getting more clients and attracting them into your business. Here is Rachel. When I started this work with Emily, I wanted nothing to do with the mindset work. I wanted to skip straight to the good stuff. the business building tools, etc. That's what I needed, I thought. I'm so glad Emily knew better because I was so wrong. In fact, I'm constantly telling other women that the mindset work is the good stuff. The mindset work changed everything for me. It took me from a woman who was charging far below her value to someone who now stands confidently in owning the level of service that I provide my clients. It allowed me to see limiting beliefs that had been holding me back for a very long time and showed me how I can embrace my strengths and move forward in my purpose and my calling. You're also going to get a 7-figure milestone masterclass with industry leaders. So I literally recorded a session, a workshop with 3 7-figure business owners. So one is Nick Pigeon, and then I recorded it with the founders of Boss Babe. So you'll see that there. And this is where they shared their biggest mindset changes in terms of money that made the biggest difference in terms of their bank account and their bottom line. This is Samantha. She said, through I Heart Money, I learned to really look at money as a relationship. It's no different from a relationship you'd have with someone you've known for years. As a result of this program, I've started to treat money like I love it. I pay attention to my bank statements. I've cleaned up outstanding credit cards, and I've embraced the fact that I was born to be prosperous. You're also going to get 30 days in my Dream Life Club. Woohoo! This is a new bonus just for those of you here. So if you're looking to have accountability, to connect with other amazing women as you go throughout this course, you're going to get to try the Dream Life Club and be a part of that group for 30 days. So you get that accountability and support. As I mentioned, it's so important that you are around high vibe people, and this is one of the ways to do that. Okay. So this is Rochelle. She said, when I first joined I Heart My Life, I was stuck in a rut financially and mentally. I had such a fear and lack mentality that I was even contemplating if I could afford this course, but I knew it would be life-changing. As of now, I've joined Emily's I Heart coaching program, hired a one-to-one coach, and got offered the highest salary I've ever been paid right on time for both programs. Love it. And thank you, Rose. She says she's loving the Dream Life Club. So as you can see, this is a lot. I'm a little bit out of breath. I appreciate you listening to all of that. So you get the core course and all of the normal bonuses, plus the VIP fast action bonuses when you sign up in the next few days. Obviously, I'm going to be emailing you about this, but you might as well go ahead and use the link in the chat box to jump in now and get the VIP fast action bonuses as well. So as you can see, the total value with everything there is $4,576. You are only paying $198.50. And I need to reiterate, this is lifetime access, not only good for as you go through it now over the next 8 weeks or however long it takes you. You get to have access to this forever, come back to it year after year, up level after up level, and utilize this tool for years to come. It might even be something that you end up teaching your clients. I'm not saying you take my course and you use it as your own, but if you work with clients, you need to understand what money mindset is. You need to have worked through your own money blocks in order to help other people do the same. Okay. So use that link in the chat box. So I had my first 5-figure months, Kaylin says, $23,000 in just 2 months after purchasing and working through I Heart Money. I've had consistent 9K months ever since then. And I crossed the 6-figure mark in my business in just 10 months. So go ahead and use the link in the chat, sign up for the program today to get the masterclass pricing. So here are a few FAQs. We're almost there. How many months do I get in the community, the new Dream Life Club? So in addition to the full program and all the bonuses, you get 1 month in the community for support as you go through the course. But wait, since you're here, I'm going to double it. You actually get 60 days, which means if you do a module per week, that means 8 weeks. You get 8 weeks in the community as you're going through the course. Then obviously we'd love for you to stay in the community and you'll get to decide if you want to do so after that time. Okay. Special bonus for you being here on this class. So you'll see now the total value is $4,773. This is a total no-brainer. You can get into I Heart Money for just $198.50. Okay. If you have any questions at all, I know I covered a lot of information, but put it in the chat about the course, about the content, anything regarding your money mindset. I'd love to answer those. Okay. So here's the information one more time. And I'm going to ask you a few more questions as you're putting your questions in the chat. So I want you to think about this as we close off. If all this course did was help you get crystal clear on what you want from your one life, would a one-time payment of $198.50 be worth it? Yes. If all this did would help you 2 times, 5 times, or even 10 times your income, and you've seen the testimonials, it helped real life ladies who've been through this course do just that, would a one-time payment of $198.50 be worth it? Yes. If all this did was help you set your family up for financial success, would a one-time payment of $198.50 be worth it? Yes. If all this did was help you attract next level clients and get the raise that you want, would a one-time payment of $198.50 be worth it? Yes. And you can obviously fill in the blank with anything that you desire. And this will support you in creating that wealth that you are craving and reaching those financial goals. And I'm sure you can see on the flip side why staying in the same place year after year is actually costing you a lot. Maybe you have health issues, and so you have a lot of doctor's bills. You're not able to shop for organic food. Maybe you have anxiety over money, so you're having to pay for medication and losing sleep. Maybe you have stress on your relationship and it's costing you money in terms of therapy and divorce. Maybe you have a lack of support for your kids because you can't pay for that or you haven't chosen to pay for that. You're not able to send them to the school that you want to send them to or get them the appropriate childcare. That's costing you money. Maybe you're not able to move forward. You're not moving forward with your business or your dream career because you're worried about investing the money and you're stuck in fear and avoidance. And so you're wasting time when you could be serving the world and having an impact. That's costing you a lot. You deserve more than that. So join us today in the iHeart Money course. Join the thousands of women that have gone through this course before you. I literally read out all of their testimonials. You listened, you're amazing. And you can see the real life results. This hasn't just worked for me, it's worked for them as well. So when you click on that link, you're going to see the program information. You're going to see the opportunity to sign up at this special price point. If for whatever reason you want to use Klarna or Afterpay that is available to certain countries, that will be an option on that checkout cart. Okay, we're not offering an installment plan for that through my business, but you can do that in another way. All right. So here you go. Here's the information. Again, go to iheartmylife.com/money-fast, or you can use the link in the chat box. Okay. All right. Are there any questions for me? And I'm going to take a picture of the chat box to see all of you who are here until the end so you can get your special bonus. Thank you again for being here. Any questions? Feel free to open up your line or to raise your hand or just type in the chat. And it's 11:11, so we're doing good. We're in alignment. Angel numbers. If there are any questions, I'm going to sign off here. Thank you so much for being here. I know this is a lot of information. I know that oftentimes it brings up, just a lot of stuff that's beneath the surface that can feel a little heavy. And I just encourage you, don't go down a path of self-blame. Don't let this make you believe that it's not possible to have the life that you want and the money that you want. It's amazing that you uncovered any of your blocks because now you get to transform them. And that's the most important thing. Your current financial reality is just your current financial reality. Things can change quickly, especially when you make that decision and you start operating from a place of desire, not fear. All right, let us know if you have any questions about the course. Like I said, it's available at this special pricing for those of you who've been on this class for the next few days only. So do not hesitate to sign up. This will change your life. And I can't wait to see all of the big shifts that come from this content. All right, everyone, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.